This hyena is one of the rarest in the world. Only 8,000 brown hyenas still live in the wild. Misunderstood and unpopular. Chased away by farmers that took over their territory. Most of them had to find refuge in the farthest areas of Africa, far from humans. Ironically, in Namibia, this long-abandoned ghost town has become a new haven for these shy carnivores. And yet, living on these inhospitable shores is truly a challenge. Brown hyenas, jackals, fur seals, all fight to survive here. On the famous Skeleton Coast, one motto prevails: adapt or die. As Strandwolf, a newcomer, will soon find out. Strandwolf grew up here, in the heart of this wooded savanna, beloved by these hyenas like no other. More extravagant than their spotted cousins, brown hyenas wear striped socks, a long, shaggy coat, and ears that are anything but round. And to top it off, these carnivores are full of contradictions. They can't stand the heat, but spend their lives bundled up in fur coats. They are independent, adepts of everyone for themselves, but remain bound to their clan. Very well equipped for hunting, they nonetheless make do with carrion. And this is precisely what Strandwolf, beach wolf in Afrikaans, is hoping to do. This young male has been wandering a good part of the night, and time is growing short. Soon, the heat will become unbearable, but he is determined. His exceptional sense of smell allows him to pick up the scent of a carcass several kilometers away. If there is a dead animal in the sector, he will find it. Strandwolf follows an invisible trail that leads him to a leopard's larder. The prey is out of reach. But all hyenas know that leopards are only interested in the best pieces, that scraps always fall to the ground. It's just a question of patience. But this morning, luck is clearly not on his side. The arrival of an attractive female draws the feline's attention. The meal can wait. This young impala is mouthwatering, but well secured. And this leopard, who is not fond of intruders, has spotted Strandwolf. Appearances can be deceiving. Brown hyenas don't let themselves be impressed by leopards. Leopards, on the other hand, fear hyenas' dreadful bite. Strandwolf will have to make do with a consolation prize, fallen at the foot of the tree. His take is light, but it arouses envy. Other carrion lovers will go so far as to follow him to his den to steal it. These cubs and their mother have just left the intimacy of the natal den to join the communal one. For the next 5 months, Strandwolf and the members of his family clan will take turns bringing them food. This gift seems very modest, but for these little brothers and sisters, it's an extraordinary toy. From their youngest age, hyena cubs have small, sharp canines and a strong jaw with which to gnaw an impala's paw. The weaning period is the only moment when the adults spend time together, entirely devoted to the future generation. Constantly in search of easy prey, these jackals try to create a diversion in order to snatch up a little one. In vain. Thanks to the hyenas' mutual support and family solidarity, their chance of survival is 4 times higher than their spotted cousins. Suspicious by nature, brown hyenas only scavenge the savanna once their cubs are safely nestled in the back of the den. Tonight, the leopard intends to finish off the leftovers. Strandwolf has no choice but to walk on by. Twilight is the best ally of these scavengers. But since humans have taken over their territory, brown hyenas must look for food long after sunrise. Out in the open. Nowadays, most of Namibia's land is used for farming, raising livestock, or game hunting. The large carnivores aren't welcome, especially during the calving period. By crossing this fence, Strandwolf is taking an enormous risk. To many cattle farmers, hyenas are pests that need to be gotten rid of. They are often victims of bias and have an unwarranted bad reputation. In reality, these scavengers prefer animals that are already dead. Hunting represents less than 5% of their diet. The smell of humans hasn't escaped Strandwolf. He has to be wary, but the temptation is too strong. People always have new schemes to evict the hyenas. And yet, they play an essential role. By eating carrion flesh, hyenas prevent the spread of diseases that could decimate wild and domesticated animals. Strandwolf won't ever prowl around cattle again. As with others before him, an organization that ensures brown hyenas' protection has taken him in. Direction: Western Namibia. A one-way trip to one of the most remote and uninhabited regions of the country. Here, at the gates of the Namib, he'll no longer face the warning shots of farmers. But he's not out of danger yet. Far from his own, lost in a world where he has no familiar landmarks, Strandwolf seeks out a sound or a familiar odor. In vain. The air is stilled by the night cold and offers no clue. In the early morning, when temperatures rise above 0 degrees Celsius, warm, misty air exudes new perfumes. Typical animal scents that haven't escaped him. So Strandwolf isn't alone. Other animals roam this arid area. And yet, surviving this kingdom of stone and dust is an immense challenge. Against all odds, giraffes have succeeded. They've learned to take advantage of the morning dew that covers the leaves before it evaporates. They've also memorized the location of each oasis. Precious knowledge passed on by their mothers from generation to generation. Giraffes aren't the only species to have pierced the secrets of the Namib. Other giants know of these confidential locales where water springs from the sand to sustain life. The rare desert elephants can hold out for almost 3 days without drinking and have learned to save the resources on which their existence depends. They only consume a few branches and pieces of bark before heading to another place to refuel. This frugal way of life has made it possible for about 100 elephants to survive in this arid environment. These great nomads are able to walk more than 60 kilometers in order to reach another oasis. In one night, a brown hyena can cover 40. Without a carrion or prey to feed on, Strandwolf must keep moving. Attracted by the humidity carried by the winds, his instinct guides him west, along a trail many hyenas before him have traveled. Without knowing it, Strandwolf penetrates the world's oldest desert. The Bushmen have named it Namib, the Great Void, the place where there is nothing. In just a few hours, temperatures can rise from -5 degrees to 35 degrees, and even to 50 degrees Celsius. Few species are able to survive in this mineral environment where the lack of water and a scarcity of shade make the heat unbearable. Oryx are one of them. Champions of withstanding arid environments, these large antelopes have tremendous survival abilities. Their pale coat reflects the sun's light, and they can go for several days without drinking. During heat waves, the oryx can trigger a cooling system of the blood that irrigates their brain, preventing the destruction of its cells. Strandwolf is not as well equipped to venture into the highest dunes in the world. The Namib Desert is one of the hottest places on the planet. The temperature on the ground can reach 70 degrees Celsius. It's best to have thick hooves to withstand the hot sand. The Perengwe's adder is perfectly at home here. It moves sideways, lifting its body. A remarkably effective technique for climbing the dunes without burning its thin scales. Thanks to eyes on the top of its skull, this expert in camouflage can spot the prey which make up its diet. Strandwolf has managed to navigate around this ocean of dunes. But soon, he will come up against a new obstacle, one that is insurmountable this time. And even in one of the most remote areas of Namibia, the same welcoming committee awaits him. Blackback jackals are the sentinels of this hostile and untamed territory. Strandwolf has just reached the famous Skeleton Coast. 3,000 kilometers of coastline at the mercy of sea swells and icy winds. The first Portuguese navigators nicknamed it the Gates of Hell. On these shores, lashed by breakers and devastating storms, life is harsh, unpredictable, and often cruel. It's impossible to escape the powerful smells that invade the shoreline, nor this cacophony that arouses his curiosity. About 10 Cape fur seal colonies have settled on this coast. Strandwolf has never seen anything like this. Faced with these unfamiliar creatures, he keeps his distance. Thousands of females have congregated on these beaches to give birth and take care of their only pup. A newborn already weighs 5 kilos. It is fragile, still incapable of moving about, and spends most of its time suckling. It needs mother's milk in order to gain in strength quickly, because in less than a week, the mother will have to leave it alone in order to forage at sea. The breeding period is a boon for numerous prowlers. Seagulls covet the placenta, which is rich in protein, and they aren't the only ones. Incredibly opportunistic, blackback jackals wouldn't miss this event for the world. The newcomer has a lot to learn from these daring little carnivores. This seal pup, barely a week old, calls out for its mother who has gone fishing. It is able to last for about 12 days without mother's milk. But like all babies, it needs comforting. Support that the other mothers will refuse. They can't take care of another hungry little one. The beach is vast, the baby tiny, practically blind and with no bearings. It doesn't know that by wandering away from the area where it was born, its mother won't be able to find it. The pup rebels. Its aggressor is wary of its sharp little teeth. At last, the mother's call echoes its cries of distress. It has found her, and would do well to take full advantage of her presence. Because during the months to come, the time that she spends at sea will only increase. Others aren't as lucky. A jackal weighs less than 9 kilos, a hyena 40, and Strandwolf is hungry. That's 2 good reasons to seize this carrion. Strandwolf discovers seal meat, a fatty flesh that is highly nourishing. For this wanderer in search of a new territory, this site is perfect. Against all expectations, food is abundant here, and the remains of this ancient mining town make for an endless number of hiding places. The whining of this featherweight have no effect on the intruder. Strandwolf is full. Now he has only to find a shelter to spend the night. A strong smell of putrefaction draws him irresistibly towards an abandoned building. The source of the smell is this dead seal. Useless to linger in this place already occupied by other carnivores. Other scents fill the air. The newcomer is perfectly familiar with the olfactive messages. This dark-colored paste was deposited by a brown hyena. It conveys a smelly message that indicates to its clan members that the site was already searched for food and when. The smell of this whitish secretion is a warning to newcomers. It expresses that the place is already taken. Strandwolf won't be cowed. He will not settle elsewhere and claims the territory formally. His scent will last up to 30 days in the ghost town. Strandwolf will be able to continue his exploration without fearing the heat. Near the shore, the temperature rarely exceeds 25 degrees Celsius. The Cape Fur seals are recovering from their night out in the ocean. Strandwolf walks toward them, upwind, without the risk of being detected by these marine animals that are very sensitive to smells. The elements are in his favor, but a lookout has spotted him. It takes only a single whistleblower to set off a stampede. This first attempt was a real fiasco. The newcomer will have to improve his hunting technique. Every spring, after several weeks spent in the ocean, hundreds of Cape Fur seals haul out on the shores. The bulls eagerly await the return of females that have spent the days at sea to build up good fat reserves. Each pasha controls an ephemeral harem, which he fiercely defends. In just a few square meters, he has assembled 20-some females that he will leave behind once their business is done. Here reigns the law of the strongest. These colossi can weigh more than 300 kilos. They are irritable, dangerous. The loser manages to make it through the combat without the slightest injury, but with stinging humiliation. Bit players, these young bulls won't take part in the Clash of the Titans yet. Only 1 week after giving birth, the mothers are at last open to the advances of the pashas. The mating period is an extremely grueling time for the little ones, left to fend for themselves. They are easy prey, and the predators know it. The hyenas that live on these coasts have faced many ordeals. They often bear the scars. In order to survive this inhospitable environment, they had to change their habits. Mainly nocturnal and scavengers, they now forage during the day as well, and have become fearful predators. Their hunting technique is efficient. Just spot the right target and make sure its mother is not around. This skilled hunter takes the correct attitude. It has set its sights on a little one sated with milk. And the risk is worth the reward. The nutritional value of the milk and the brains of recently killed pups is much greater than that of a dead one. Blackback jackals have also adapted remarkably to this environment. Organized gangs or tandems are increasing the number of raids on the beach. The couples have developed a well-honed strategy. While one chooses a victim, the other watches its back. This young couple hasn't yet mastered the technique. By consuming this meal on site, they are spared the chore of transporting it, but expose themselves to pugnacious and unscrupulous competitors. This more experienced jackal will not make such a mistake. Even if dragging his treasure far from the freeloaders takes immense efforts. A jackal doesn't exceed 40 centimeters at the withers, for 9 kilos. Its prey weighs more than 6. It's almost as heavy as he is. On the Skeleton Coast, these marauders have no fear of reprisals. Far too busy protecting their own pup, mothers make no attempt to help the babies of their neighbors. If jackals are faithful and united for life, this doesn't rule out domestic squabbles, especially when stomachs are growling. Strandwolf has waited for the carnage to end to stock up. He takes advantage of this period of abundance to build up on reserves that he buries in a hiding place. Unaware that not everything is allowed here. On this hunting ground, competition between carnivores can be fierce. To avoid conflicts, the hyenas of rival clans have learned to visit the beach at different moments. By encroaching on the time slot of another male, Strandwolf risks a serious dressing down. No matter how he scrapes the sand and lays down on the ground as signs of appeasement, it won't be enough. The adversary wants to assert its rights. At first, the attacker dominates the fight. But the situation is reversed. He capitulates and finally retreats. Slightly injured on his paw, Strandwolf will settle not far from here, in the hollow of a warm sandy dune, where he will quickly recover. At dawn, when the hot breath of the desert meets the icy waters coming from the Antarctic, an awe-inspiring phenomenon takes place near the shore. Veils of mist gather and unite before entering the Namib desert dunes. Over time, the little dwellers of the dunes have developed subtle strategies to capture these precious dew pearls. The gecko emerges to spread out its body and stock up on water. It will harvest the droplets trapped in its eyeballs with its long, spatula-shaped tongue. Another mist hunter heads towards the exposed peaks where fog is more abundant. The ascension of these dunes, which can reach 400 meters high, is often vertiginous. But not for this athlete who excels in climbing and acrobatics. To drink water from the sky, the darkling beetle has learned to stand on its head. In this position, the water, guided by its long hind legs, can flow off directly down the furrows on its shell and right into its mouth. The water reserve stocked by the beetle can account for 40% of its weight. And this is exactly what this Namib sniper has set its sights on. A Namaqua chameleon has patiently awaited the return of these juicy waterlogged beetles. In this unforgiving universe, each being's survival depends on its ability to adapt. Strandwolf must now face a crucial test. The time has come for him to learn to kill. Despite some hesitation, this first attempt is a success. The hunter's instinct, which slumbers in brown hyenas of the savannah, has just awakened. Strandwolf quickly attacks another pup. The abundance of prey has triggered a feeding frenzy, a behavior that has become common among the hyenas of the Skeleton Coast. A young female has noticed his achievements and intends on letting him know. Her scent mark is an invitation for him to follow. At 4 years old, Strandwolf is sexually mature. He got the message. Their mating betrays the awkwardness of beginners. It's also a promise for the future of this endangered species. In Namibia, half of the brown hyena population has found refuge on the edge of the world's oldest desert, along the Skeleton Coast.